Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Before we do the exciting stuff, can we talk about the team news, please?
Yes.
Any good news to bring Arsenal fans? Obviously, Declan Rice not seen in training.
Yeah, we have to wait till tomorrow morning to see how a few of the boys are, and I make the right decision with them.
Okay, and what's Declan's issue? If you can disclose.
I don't want to do that. We have to wait and see how he is tomorrow, but obviously he wasn't available to train.
Okay, and any chance of Saka or Timber being back potentially tomorrow?
Maybe one of them, let's see.
Okay, and I just wondered sort of, how do you reflect now on Saturday and the weekend's results? What have you said to the players and how have they responded in training?
Well, obviously it was a big disappointment and a hard one to take, especially losing at home when we have the opportunity to make that gap bigger and bring more certainty and get into this week in the best possible manner. But yeah, what we are trying to achieve is difficult, is challenging, it's bumpy at times, and it's supposed to be like this. So you have to confront it, and what I basically said, guys, we are trying to do something, and in this competition, that hasn't been done in the history of the club in 140 years. So that tells you the difficulty of that and what you guys are doing. So we value a lot where we are. We have the opportunity tomorrow to go to the semi-finals. We are competing to win the Premier League, and we're in a really strong position after 22 years without doing it. So we know the difficulty of that, but the beauty of it is that is difficult, that is challenging, and that's why we are so willing to do it.
You talk about back-to-back semi-finals in the Champions League and the Premier League. There is so much at stake. It sounds like it's going to be really hard just to get over, almost mentally, to get over the line. Once you do that, the mental challenge of doing it and achieving it can bring so much rewards down the line?
Yeah, but there are things that we've done. I mean, I repeat myself, we haven't been in this position in the Champions League ever in our history. So we have overcome a lot of hurdles that they were here for 140 years. So the team is doing something incredible because it's never been done before. So yeah, we're going to go to the next step for sure. We have the ambition more than anybody else, and that's where the beauty lies on doing it. And we are there, and we are very, very close.
Okay. What do you want from the team tomorrow in terms of performance and from the crowd? Because it feels like it was a little bit stressed on Saturday, so there is so much at stake, there's so much excitement, Champions League quarter-final. What would you like to say to the crowd and the players, really, about what you want?
No fear, pure fire. That's it. Me, the first one. Pure fire. That's what I want to see on the players, on the people, on myself. That's it. Go for it because the opportunity is unbelievable. We are in April. We have an incredible opportunity ahead of us. Let's confront it. Let's go for it by really putting absolutely everything into it.
Good afternoon, Mikel. Can you give us an idea of your overriding emotions just now? Is there any worry, anxiety, or is it more...
Fire. I'm on fire. That's it, nothing else. I'm driven so much. I've done so much, to be in this position because I know how this club it was. I've done so much against anything that this is beauty. I just see beauty, opportunity, and yeah, I want to get it done for all these people that they've been in this journey with us. And because they deserve it, because it's been unbelievable. That's what is driving me every single day. I have zero fear. Fear I had when, if we don't get this done, this club, I don't know where it's going. That was fear. Now, there's no fear. It's just purpose, fire, direction, and conviction that we're going to do it.
Are you seeing this fire in your players?
Yes. Yes, big time.
You often use innovative methods to motivate your players. Whether you watch it or not, there's a lot of noise. There's pundits, there's ex-players, there's even like a City fan, I don't know whether you've seen it, at Stamford Bridge drinking out of an Arsenal bottle.
One fan, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to get one fan that says something else. Over 60,000 that are incredible every time I'm at the Emirates. I don't get moved by that.
But do you maybe show your players this? And
no, I show them all the players and people that love this player for what they are doing that is unprecedented in this club. That's what I put them.
just finally, Mikel, it's 6.5 years nearly you've been here at the club. Is this the biggest, maybe the most challenging week?
The biggest opportunity of 6.5 years, yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Back at left wing, we'll go to Art.
Hi, Mikel. I know you mentioned fire there, but last week you mentioned composure. And I was just wondering, when you spoke about that, was it more in terms of on the pitch stuff or just in general around the club, everybody, not just the players?
No, it was a comment made in certain context talking about certain copies, but not something that I have to demand to anybody.
And you've also spoken about, I guess, the players needing to deal with shifts in momentum in matches a little bit better. Is that something you think is linked to composure in any way?
No, sometimes it's to an action. I mean, we have, I don't know how many actions the other week where we break the opposition press. But a lot of situations, we have the next advantage to go with so much space to run, and we give the ball away, and it turns out to be a counter-attack. These are the moments that shifts momentum and shifts the emotional state of the game as well for both teams, and that's what we have to do better as well.
And just on Declan, I know you didn't want to get into specifics, but it seemed like in the second half he had an awkward landing. Was that part of his issue?
Well, and he's played a lot of games, and that's part of the issue. But he's going to try to do everything that he possibly can to be with us tomorrow, that's for sure.
Hi, Mikel. I think everyone in this room knows why you don't want to give too much away on the team news front, and obviously that generally is how you like to answer those questions. But the sense I get from supporters is there's a bit of frustration that they go into the ground, they don't know what the lineup's going to be, that maybe they're disappointed not to see a player they thought could really help. Could you explain to supporters why you are so closed off when it comes to the team news?
I don't see that on the supporters at all, and I know a lot of them, so I don't have that feeling.
I mean, certainly we can agree to disagree, but I think there are supporters that feel that way.
Well, yeah, because from 60,000, but the majority of that, they are so happy to see the team regardless who plays, because no manager, I think, if you give me a press conference when they give the lineup, then we talk about different things, but I don't think it's the case.
Okay, we'll go to Matt from Legal Standard.
Hi, Mikel. Bukayo's issue, is that one he picked up in the Carabao Cup final, or was he carrying it before that?
No, it was something that he was carrying for a while, yeah.
What is the injury?
Sorry?
What is his injury?
It was an Achilles issue. Yeah.
And I think you said last week you hoped he'd be back for Bournemouth.
Who?
Bukayo.
Yeah.
Has there been any setback with that? Or?
No, there is progression, but hopefully it's going to be a matter of days and not weeks, but he has to see when he's loading more how he responds to that kind of progression.
And are we at the stage of the season where you need players to sort of make themselves available and play through the pain, even if that means taking risks now?
But they are trying to do that, and we know how important availability is in this crucial period of the season. Obviously, we've been missing 4 or 5 starters now for weeks, which has an impact. So that's why we need them back. That's for sure.
We'll try to get around to everyone. There's obviously a lot of people here today, so we'll go to Harry from.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
You mentioned the opportunities that you had to play through Bournemouth's press, and then how the sort of ball was given away and the moves would break down. Now you've had some time to look back at that game, and obviously you want to see a response going forward. How much of what you think the recent struggles have been are down to tactical approach versus player performance and the execution?
I'm not going to get into that. I understand the question, and it's good, but there is always a balance between the two, and there is no plan without execution. At the end, it's about the decision that is made on the moment and how good that execution is in relation to the decision. Otherwise, especially when you are attacking, there is very little end product.
And you mentioned that you're feeling sort of fire, and obviously your intentions going into Saturday were to help boost the atmosphere. In hindsight, is there a chance that by sort of making every game into a kind of cup final that it adds to the tension?
No, I never mentioned a cup final, but I think obviously the importance of every game, we know what it is. We've done the same in September, in October, in November, in the Champions League last year. I think the outcome of what you are trying to achieve at the end, or the success or failure, or your intention, is based on a result. And you have to accept that because this is football.
Tom, Football London.
Hi, Mikel. When a team loses, there's a temptation to kind of look at what went wrong, look at the mistakes, how can we improve those things. But is there also maybe an emphasis, instead of looking back on performances like against Bayern or Atletico and games where you've really dominated and done so well? We talked last week about identity. So have you reminded the players really actually how good they can be?
Yes, and I try to do that as much as possible, especially in moments when they need to see that, because the first reaction, as you mentioned, is to look at the negative things that we've done that didn't allow us to win the game. But again, reinforce them, what they've done so well for 9 months to be in this position.
And obviously this is a big week with 2 huge games.
Yeah.
How challenging is it when you've got 2 huge games within that space of time to keep the focus on just the next one rather than both of them?
Well, I mean, the first one is that big and that important to get into the semi-final of the Champions League again, that there is no time to find a space for the weekend, that's for sure.
Ibrahim Bien.
Hi, Mikel. Pep Guardiola mentioned that he's doing well this period of time because of the sun. Why is the opposite in April, especially for Arsenal? Why this period of time always there?
We love the sun as well, and yeah, especially. But then the sun, you have to win the games with the sun or no sun. September it was very sunny as well.
Second, ESPN. Thank you.
Mikel, hi.
Yeah.
Mikel, you mentioned about being in the quarter-final for 3 years in a row for the first time. Have you felt the need to sort of remind the players a little bit about what they've already achieved? Because everybody's talking about the next few weeks and what they can do, but is it a useful moment to say to them, look how far you've come?
No, but I think what I love as well about where we are is that there is no satisfaction about it, you know. And you haven't asked me any questions like, congratulations, you're going to be in the Champions League next year. Now it's like we take it for granted. So I am assuming for the next 20 years this club is going to be taking for granted this, that you are fighting for titles in April and c'est fini. That's okay. But it's difficult to do it. And I do value a lot what the players are doing, that's for sure.
Congratulations, you're going to be in the Champions League next year. You should say that.
Thank you so much.
Can I just ask you one about Victor Gyökeres? After the game on Saturday, he mentioned that he felt the pitch was a bit dry. And I wondered if you felt that was an issue, and obviously that's something you can rectify at home.
After losing a match, I learned some lessons. And after losing a match, don't talk about anything else than this, because he's coming back. Thank you. Great question, though.
We'll go to Phil from PA, and then we've got a couple from Portuguese media. So Phil from PA at the back.
Thanks. Hi, Mikel. Just sort of going back to what you've been speaking about how Arsenal are making history effectively with all these quarter-finals and top of the league. Do you think that the pile-on since Sunday has just been unfair and unwarranted given where you are at the moment?
I love the dissatisfaction of that we want much more, that this is why we are here. But as well, we need certain perspective, especially the players need the perspective that where they are in the Champions League and in the Premier League, 14th of April. And that's a reality. And we need to embrace that, and it's supposed to be like this, because the higher you are, obviously, the bumpier it gets, and more demanding, and the line is thinner between being the best and being the worst is really, really thin, and you have to cope with that.
And also, presumably, I suppose there's an energy or a motivation to sort of prove those doubters wrong, the people that are, saying that Arsenal might also.
The motivation is to give to the people that they deserve, they are with us, what they are looking for. Not for the rest. The energy is on these people. 100%. That's the one that they deserve it.
So a couple of questions from Portuguese media. Firstly, CNN Portugal in the corner here.
SIC. It's not
SIC.
CNN.
Oh, sorry, SIC.
SIC.
Sorry, SIC.
SIC.
SIC, sorry.
Hello, Bárbara Simões from SIC Portugal. I want to ask you about Sporting. What surprised you the most at first match at Alvalade?
No surprises. It's obviously the understanding of the quality that they have, and the different ways that they have to hurt you. And they are a really, really good side. We knew that. They proved that in the first leg, and that's why we know that tomorrow is going to be a really tough match.
May I? Yeah, of course.
Miguel, Carlos Albuquerque from RTP Portugal television. I'd like to ask you, what kind of Sporting do you expect tomorrow, because they are 1-0 down? What kind of Sporting do you expect? And Ullman will be on the team. Do you expect more difficulties with Morten Ullman on the 11th of Sporting?
Yeah, the approach that they would have, I think they are always trying to be a team that is very, very dominant through their press, through the ball, and And the longer the game goes in relation to the context on the game, they can approach and alter that like they done in the league. So regarding to the results, they will modify that. We are ready for that as well, and we will apply what is necessary to win the game.